Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt. I'm here with the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro that we're all familiar with, but this time it's in solar octane. And today's video is going to look a little bit different, and that's for two reasons. One, I'm here at Road America, test driving pretty much everything I can get my hands on. So speed and agility is the name of the game. So the usual production value that you're used to seeing is going to be sacrificed a little bit for today. So apologies for that. But secondly, we're going to try a little bit different format today. So if you like what you see at the end of the video, leave a comment. But now let's talk about the Tundra. So for the sake of this video, we're going to hit all the coolest features that make up the Tundra TRD Pro. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the American identity of this truck. There's a couple Easter eggs under the hood, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but basically, Toyota and this Tundra is one of the only non-American options to really compete in this segment. I know Nissan has their Titan, but that doesn't really compete, at least not lately. So they have a bit of a complex on being American. So you can see here, it's R&D'd in Michigan, and it's born or built in Texas. So it's about as American as it can get for a Japanese brand. And for the second thing, we're heading to the back seats. And now most full-size trucks like this have storage under the rear seats, but this Pro and also the Capstone come exclusively as the iForce Max hybrid, and there needs to be a battery, and that battery lives right under the rear seats. So you don't really have any under-seat storage in the back seats. Next is the fact that this is the TRD Pro and Toyota doesn't want you to forget it. And I'm gonna roll a social media clip that we have on our Instagram right now, just counting how many exterior TRD badges there are on this thing. This is the new Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, and we're gonna count how many exterior TRD badges are on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, other side that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, weirdly none in these lights though, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and of course there's one on the other side, so 21, 22, 23. So there you have it, 23 TRD badges on the exterior of the new Tundra. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the interior. Last reel we did how many exterior TRD badges there are on the new Tundra TRD Pro. This time we're gonna do interior badges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This one obviously doesn't count because it's not a TRD badge, but I believe this is specific to the TRD Pro. And weirdly, no TRD badges in the back seat. So that's it then, 8 TRD badges on the interior of the Tundra and 23 on the exterior. This is the new BMW M, ladies and gentlemen. Next is this TRD light bar, which comes standard on the TRD Pro Tundras. It actually also comes standard on the new Tacoma as well. And I believe this Tundra, the Tacoma, and weirdly the Ford Explorer Timberline are the only vehicles that I'm aware of that come with an LED grille bar as standard from the factory. And of course you have a huge amount of lighting up here, and I'm gonna show you how to turn it on because it's a little specific, so just hang with me. Okay, to turn on the light bar, you have to do it in this order. You cannot be on the auto setting for your headlights. You have to be headlights on, high beams on, and then you can turn on the TRD light bar. And then one of my favorite things when I have my 4Runner is the back glass goes completely down in here. You got this little button here, push it all the way down, all the way up. Underrated feature, super awesome. And then there's the tailgate. As you can see, it's stamped in and colored, says TRD Pro. All other Tundras just say Tundra. They have Tundra stamped into the back, but not the TRD Pro for obvious reasons. And the tailgate is still pretty cool aside from that too. You have a secret release on your taillights. And then back in the cabin, I want to talk about some of the classic Toyota off-road goodies. Now, this is kind of one of the things I think holding this Tundra back is that you still have a part-time selectable 4x4 system. So you push this in, go into 4 high. A lot of trucks now, Fords, Rams, etc., they have a 4 auto system, so the computer will send power to the front if you're in inclement weather or whatever. This is still going to have to be manually selected. But you also have some really good off-road stuff that you come to expect from Toyota. Now, of course, you have a multi-terrain select, and you have about 5 different modes that you can choose from there. So we'll go down into 4 high, we'll turn multi-terrain select on, And then we use this.
Have an active route set.
Shut up, Toyota! And then we'll use this dial to select what we want to do. There's an auto off-road setting, a dirt, sand, mud, and deep snow setting. And then of course you can activate your downhill assist control or crawl control, which of course will have the car, or the truck rather, set a specific pace, so you can focus specifically on choosing your line, which is really helpful when you have your multi-terrain monitor. I can see my tolerances on either side, I know my pitch, roll, and then of course I've also got a locking rear differential, unlike the last gen Tundra, which had an LSD. And you know how sports cars use carbon fiber to accent and make it look cool and sporty? Well, Camo seems to be the truck equivalent. You can see down here, all of your black plastic on the exterior, aside from your grille, is kind of etched in this camo. You've got it here on your wheel arches. You've got it on the insert of the TRD Pro here, not on the whole housing, but just here on the Pro. Your wing mirrors are safe, they're not covered in it. Your door handles are safe, they're not covered in it. But again, wheel arch back here, upper portion of the tailgate, and then also your rear bumper back here, all camo. But it doesn't stop there, because the underlay on your perforated seats, that's camo too, all of them. And the next thing is just kind of a weird omission. Look at the front face and tell me what you don't see. Is it a recovery hook? Usually trucks will have recovery hooks baked into the front bumper. Now Toyota says that they've removed that for aerodynamic purposes. Remember, this is a hybrid, so they are concerned about fuel economy. But is it borderline arrogant to suggest that their Tundra is so powerful and so good off-road that it doesn't need to ever be recovered? Or is it selfish saying that this Tundra is so powerful and capable, but it's not going to offer recovery hooks to hook up a snatch strap to help anybody else that needs help on the trail? Wonder. And then there's your turn signal, and they're sequential. Up front it looks very, very Audi, and on the back it looks almost like a Mustang. And then let's talk about your center console here. It's big, it's super practical and everything, but you can remove this or reorient it to divide it however you'd like. And then you have these rubber mats in here, and on the tabs, you see they've got little trucks. This looks like a 4Runner. That one looks like a Tundra down here. This bigger one, that kind of looks like a 4Runner too. Maybe it's supposed to be a Land Cruiser. And there's a Tundra or Tacoma. Kind of cool. And then I want to talk about wheels and tires. Now you can see we have a nice satin black finish BBS forged TRD Pro wheel. It's got Pro here, TRD Pro center cap, 6 lugs, and it's wrapped in a 32-inch Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain tire. Now this is a little bit more mild all-terrain tire than you'd see in other what would be considered flagship off-roader trims for this specific truck. Take the Ford Raptor, for example. It's not too much more expensive than this, but it comes standard with the 35-inch BFG KO2 tire, and it has a 37-inch tire optional. So a 32 is a little bit small. But I want to talk about cameras too. You hit this button and you have the egg view, which is classic Toyota, and to be honest is pretty useless. You can't control it at all. You can pause the rotation of it, but that's about it. And of course you can get underneath or closer, but look at this resolution. I can't tell anything. It's like graphics from Star Wars Rogue Squadron that I played on my PC in like 06. But you can change the color of the truck. But they don't have solar octane for the TRD Pro, so red is going to be close enough. Now if you actually shift into reverse, you do have a myriad of cameras, and these are all way better resolution, so why have the egg view at all? It's not helpful. And then there's your digital instrument cluster, which looks pretty good, and it's nice that it's fully digital. It doesn't really have much customizability though. This, what you're seeing here, is really the only customizability that you can do. And of course you go down here and you can adjust your drive modes, but then it's just the same screen with red Sport at the bottom. And remember at the beginning of the video when we talked about how this truck's trying to be so American? Well, it's also trying to be incredibly macho. I mean, look at this. We've got this faux aluminum with faux screws on here. Everything's rubberized. I do like that everything's rubberized. Huge toggles and physical climate controls. I like this stuff. It's just, it feels like it's maybe compensating for a little bit. I mean, look at this. Do we need the fake screws? And the last thing we'll talk about is the center screen here. It's the 14-inch updated screen from Toyota, and it's just brilliant. Wireless Apple CarPlay, great 360 cameras. It's nice, it's quick, it's responsive, it's got dual Bluetooth, and I just have no complaints about it. It's really well done, it's integrated well into the dash, and it's a genuine help. Big fan. But those are the coolest features of the Tundra, so we're gonna grab a key and go for a drive. All right, behind the wheel of the TRD Pro Tundra. Foot down. There's some lag. Okay. 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend that it's a sports car. It's not incredibly fast, but it does feel really powerful. It feels muscular. It's a very different feeling. I know in videos in the past on the channel, I've compared this to the Ford Raptor, and it's easy to make that comparison. They're both twin turbo 3.5 liter V6s. They both have 10-speed transmissions. They both have Fox shocks. They both have independent rear suspension. So it's easy to make those comparisons, but when you actually get behind the wheel of each of the vehicles, they have entirely different personalities. And at the end of the day, it really is kind of, they stick to what they're good at. You know, the Raptor is so much more in your face. It's so much more visceral. It's more sports car in that way. And the Tundra TRD Pro here, it feels burly. It feels like really, really powerful, but not in the same way that, like, I guess I'll put it this way. The TRD Pro is like a linebacker, and the Raptor is like a wide receiver. They're both elite athletes. However, this is more, it's not as quick and dynamic, it's not as sharp and athletic in that way, but it definitely has the strength. It's more of a power lifter than a CrossFitter, if that kind of makes sense. But switched out of sport and back into normal mode, it's just smooth, it's comfortable. The seating position is really high and nice. You've got a little bit of drama you can see on the hood scoops up there for your TRD Pro decking, and it's just comfortable. The Fox suspension translates really well onto the road. It soaks up and articulates bumps on the trail, and then on the road it's really supple. The ride is good. The steering is pretty direct. I'm not gonna say that you have a bunch of feedback or feeling, but you shouldn't. You've got 32-inch all-terrain tires, and it's a big truck. But on the road here, it is nice and comfy and refined. The thing you do notice as we switch back into sport mode is anytime you go near the throttle, listen. Does that sound like a V6 to you? Because it sounds like a V8 to me. So there's a lot of interior ambient sound being pumped into here, and I know that going from the iForce 5.7 V8 to a 3.5 TT V6, Toyota knew that they were going to have a lot of people that weren't thrilled about that. So being able to add a little bit of that V8 sound and drama to the experience, I think is something that they're doing to kind of help ease the transition from NA V8 to twin turbo hybrid V6. You know, the biggest thing about Toyotas, and I know that I can't make a video without mentioning the word reliability, and that's where the concerns start to stem when you have a totally new chassis, new transmission, new powertrain, and all of the Toyotas, for generally speaking, in the past have been really durable and reliable, and going to forced induction, adding complexity with a hybrid system, that's where the hesitation starts to come in. But no, overall, it's a really nice truck. It's comfy, you've got loads of tech and features. It is a bit shouty for my taste with the massive Toyota on the dash and all of the TRD Pros and things like that around the car. It starts to become an issue for me because as tested, this is $73,000, and it is good, but you're then very close to being into Raptor money, and to me the Raptor just brings a little bit more of everything. It brings more shoutiness, but I think I'll leave it there. If you need more information on the Tundra, we've done at least 2 other videos on this thing on the channel, and I'll link those down in the description below. We'll see you in the next one.